time. We have 3 citizens who have signed up to speak. Doug Wilson. Doug, I don't know, would you want to speak during the public hearing or the ordinance, or do you want to take your time during?
Public hearing will be fine, because that's what I'm...
That's what I thought. So, okay. Next is Scott Farley. Scott would like to talk to us about a food drive.
Good evening, Scott Farley, 845 Blackcliff Road, Louisville, Virginia. We have the Governor of Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia, and the Mayor of Washington, D.C. issued a proclamation for a day of service in September. Last Saturday in September, September 29th. The LDS Church is trying to spearhead a food drive within the county. We have spoken to the school superintendent, who's agreed to let us have a food drive at a home football game. All 3 high school principals agreed to let us do it on the homecoming football game. I've met with the Ministerial Association and different organizations to help support that food drive. I just wanted to let you all be aware of it. So the food drive at each high school, the food collection would go to a pantry or organization in that area. So there's the Church of God in Fort Chiswell, which would receive all the food collected from the Fort Chiswell football game. Fort Retreat has a backpack program going on that the church Mr. Barrett's in. We hope to be able to provide information in a way that we collect items that they can use for their backpack program. The other items collected that they cannot use would go to the Agape food pantry, and the items collected at the George Lipp football game would go to the Agape food pantry. So I just wanted to let you know that that was going on, and that will be on the homecoming games. So if you could spread that by word of mouth, we hope to be able to get Mr. Gordon to announce on the radio. I haven't approached him yet, but possibly if the county has a public service time to be able to maybe make those announcements. I'm hoping principals will put it on their Honeywell system. We've contacted the schools to get an advisor from a club from inside the school to have the club support the project and the food drive. All the pantries are on board, helping us. Pantry in Fort Chiswell, Ken Quisenberry, I think, the pastor of the church up there, is sort of spearheading that now and taking that. I've met with Stephen and need to talk to a couple people about this backpack food drive to see how we can make that thing work to be beneficial to that program. Trying to make the focus seeing what you bring to this area stays in this area to help the people here. So that's the goal. I just wanted to make you guys see, or let you guys be aware that we were trying to accomplish that. So any support or word of mouth you can spread and support that, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Scott?
I can get on the radio. I'm going to be doing the game with Danny Friday night, so I'll mention, so it's homecoming games.
All 3 homecoming games, that's right. Yeah, that'd be great.
Could have Jenna put it on the website, the county website.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What are they in? What month are they in?
October. First 3 Fridays in October.
I possibly get in the newsletter for you.
Okay. That'd be great.
Next is Ms. Linda Myers, and she has one subject she'd like to speak, but she didn't tell us what.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. I have left information with you about the National Heritage Area proposed by the Crooked Road people, and I was wondering if you had, quote, educated yourself and come to a conclusion, and I don't see it on the agenda. It's very, very important that we do something about this for the residents of Wood County, and I was wondering what your determination was.
Well, let me give you some information that I have. The Mount Rogers PDC had an amendment to go in favor of this, and we did not vote for it because they felt like they didn't have enough information yet, and they were going to ask somebody from the Heritage to come down and speak to them. And I might make it, if I find out for sure that gets on the agenda, I'd notify you, and you can maybe hear some more information about it, because nobody seems to know enough information about it, is what the representatives of the PDC said.
Okay, can Mr. Dalton send me the Mount Rogers link to whoever was doing that so I can send them information? I have information that came across today from Mr. R.J. Smith, and he's an adjunct scholar with the Competitive Enterprise Institute. He's with the National Center for Public Policy Research and the Cato Institute, and he's been doing this environmental policy stuff for 40 years. and he's an expert on this, and some really, really important information came through today from him, and I'd like to be able to pass that on. If the Mount Rogers people don't know, we'd certainly like to inform them. Is that possible?
Well, we can do that. You can get a address.
Is Michael Armbrust, are they active?
No, right now, I haven't gotten any emails to say anything other than Dave Barrett.
I will send you that email tomorrow morning with that.
Okay, great, thank you so much. And I will return email with this information from the Cato Institute, so you gentlemen can also have that. And I just wanted to remind you that Tom DeWeese is coming to Whitfield this coming Saturday. I had left the flyers with everybody, and that's concerning the National Heritage Area and Agenda 21. So that's at 11 o'clock at 190 West Main Street in Westville, and it'll be very, very informative. So if any of you can make it, or send people, that would be a very, very good thing to do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It is past 7:05, so we'll go to our public hearings. The first one is the proposed Wythe County ordinance entitled Subdivision 2012-05. Notice to the public in compliance with the Code of Virginia and amendments thereto, the Wythe County Board of Supervisors will conduct a public hearing to consider ordinance 2012-5 entitled Subdivision Ordinance of Wythe County, Virginia. The Board of Supervisors will hear comments from citizens concerning the proposed ordinance. The public hearing will be held on Tuesday, September the 11th, 2012 at 7:05 in the boardroom of the Wythe County Office Building at 340 South 6th Street, Whitfield, Virginia. A copy of the proposed ordinance is on file for review at the County Administrator's Office located at 340 South 6th Street, Whitfield, Virginia, and online at wythecounty.org or wytheco.org. Mr. Wilson, you had signed up, so Doug, you want to come up?
I will.
And if you give us your name and your address, Doug, for the record.
Okay, I'll give each one of you one of these. Douglas Wilson, 694 Gapple Bridge Road, Rural Retreat, Virginia. If you don't mind, I'll give you each one. These are emails from Dr. Mike Chandler. I talked to him about the 10-foot setback on the side. And, he helps a little bit, that's what I'm gonna say. You need to, sir. I apologize for the small print, but you gotta know a whole lot more about the computer than I do.
At least you can get it. Hey, at least you can get it to print.
Before I get into that, I do want to say, and I've already talked to a couple of the past members, I'd like to commend our Board of Supervisors after having gone through the certification process and hearing all the problems that the other counties and locales have. Even in our meetings, I commended past and present Board of Supervisor members for their vision as far as industrial change in Wythe County. You listen to everybody else, it's a question. But on this proposed ordinance, the one thing that I am here to talk about is the 10-foot setback on the side and rear. And if you'll look, I asked Dr. Chandler about this. Public health and safety argument that he's talking about is the first reason that zoning or planning was instituted was to ensure to provide sunlight and air. I feel 10 foot on either side is going to be extremely short on that unless you institute height limitations. I measured last night, it's less than 10 foot for me, each one of you. 20 foot, which is what we're looking at, with the possibility of windows closer than here, if as it was. Go back to this. If we look, and you can read this, his main question was, what was the problem that you had that you wanted to change? What is this solving? To go to 10 foot, I talked to him about houses with 18-inch drops on the roof past the foundation. Anyone on the leeward side, a 10 foot on a snowy winter would have a snow drift. If you had a driveway there, I can envision the nice little talks that the neighbor's going to have to you about snow drift that forms on his roadway. If we have, and the biggest thing I see, and I know it's not your intention on what's going to happen, but once this would be put into the books, any developer could by right come in and put in a subdivision with houses within 20 feet of each other. 20 foot behind, 20 foot. And I know that's not what you're envisioning in it, but once it's in the books, there's not a whole lot that anybody can do because he will have that right. beyond that, you can read what's here, what his questions were. I just came in to say that I feel that 10 feet is extremely too close. I know we're sitting at, what, 25 right now?
On the site, 15.
15. I just feel 10 feet is too close when we look at what is going to happen with any snow, any overhang from the buildings. If you do not have a height restriction on one, you're imposing by building within 10 feet of my property, you're imposing your will on my property, basically.
Well, it's 35 feet from the road.
Right.
The proposal now is 35 feet from the front, 10 feet from the sides and back.
And back.
Where it was 35 in the front, 35 in the back, 15 on either side.
So that's the only thing I brought up on this, was when I saw that we were changing to 10 feet, I was in disagreement with it. And you can think on anything I've said or haven't said. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else like to speak to this?
Yes, I would.
All right, sir. Please give your name and address.
Roger Hall, 123 Bishop Lane here in Wood County. I think some of these things like this gentleman's arguing in this area are way out of line to start with. This whole subdivision deal. We're out in the mountains, you know, and I was forced to make a subdivision out of my piece of property because I sold a home that I originally bought and then built behind. I'm now a subdivision owner. I've got 8 acres of property out there, and I have to go along with these rules to say I can't be more than 10 foot here or 10 foot there. I got 8 acres around me. You got mountains all around here that people want to buy a piece of property and build a home on, but they can't do it because they have to go and get 100 foot of road frontage and have to have a state road built up to their house and all this stuff. I think a lot of this is unnecessary. And I think it ought to be looked at for the area we're in and not like we're in some development up in northern Virginia somewhere. So I think a lot of these things are unnecessary and they should be changed to go along with the way things are in this area. So, and I know why this was put in. I know that a lot of the people involved have got this where it's at, but you're punishing the whole county for what a few people did in the past. So I think a lot of this needs to be looked at just for what it is and changed. So that's just what I got to say about it.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else? Okay. Name and address.
Yes, another drill. Eric Crafty, 465 Richardson Road, Westville, Virginia, 24386. Thank you. Appreciate you allowing us to speak as a citizen and also a member of your planning commission here in Wood County. Kind of look at the planning commission as, you know, the preamble of the Constitution says that it's of the people, for the people, by the people. Well, the planning commission in Wood County is the by the people part. We're the ones that look at what's going on in the county. I know that at times the subdivision ordinance was a lot looser than what it was, but at that time the board decided that we need to tighten it up, and we did. And we as a commission, we have tried to enforce the rules that you've given us to enforce. At times, I know that people don't like it, but you also have to consider that most people once in their lifetime will come before the commission to make a change. And it's not something that they do every day, and so it's awkward. They don't understand the rules. And it doesn't matter whether the rules were so simplified that they would still complain about it. And staff is usually in a no-win situation, because people, whether it was a enforceable document or a very loose document, staff has to go by the letter of the law. I'm speaking against making the 10-foot rule. I think we've gone along with the 35-foot setback for years now. I think maybe we could change it a little bit, but to go to one extreme from the other, I don't think that we need to do that. I think that it has been working. I know that 10 feet would require, some buildings that were very high. It'd be hard to maintain them up against the property line like that. I just don't see the need of changing it that way. Also, there was one other provision in there that you indicated that all the smaller subdivisions would not be looked at by the planning commission. Then that would lessen our involvement, which would be great in one sense, but in the other sense, that takes the people away from looking at the people. Paul Harvey said, and he used to have his little commentary and says, and now for the rest of the story. And sometimes commission members know, because they live in that district, because they work with these people, it gives them a direct contact with them, their neighbors, and they know the rest of the story. So I would like to keep that provision in there, that we continue to look at those. I would like to not go down as far as the 10-foot spacing requirement in the back. And I do appreciate your time.
Thank you, Rick. Anyone else? Seeing no one else?
Well, Mr. Chairman, let me say one thing. I need to kind of apologize for something I said last night in the planning commission. When I said that, people, when we ran for the board of supervisors, we heard a lot of complaints about the planning commission. As a board choice word, we heard a lot of complaints about the subdivision ordinance. So I just wanted to, rephrase that. I said that, I used the wrong choice of words. It was the subdivision ordinance, not planning commission. So, yeah.
Someone from Mount Rogers once said that the planning commission was there to run interference for the board of supervisors. And now, if y'all want to take more of the interference, that's fine with us. But at this point, we're trying, without another document in the county, this is our land use plan, it is our, the rule that we have to go by without zoning.
Can I ask one question?
I'm going to let you talk to them after I close the public hearing, if that's okay. All right, I have closed the public hearing. Now, you have your opportunity.
Just for Eric and Doug, what would be the recommendation? 15 feet from the back to the side? Yeah, from the back to the side. I think that's what it was before.
Leave it alone. Unless you have just a huge groundswell of people coming before our staff, the old adage, if it's not broke, why do we need to fix it? I know that there are complaints. Mr. Houston and I have talked about that. There are some that complain, but you'll never get away from all the complaints. Mr. Holly.
It wasn't broke before they put this subdivision ordinance in. They snuck that in at the back door. They could never get zoning through. They've tried for 40, 50 years to put zoning in Wisconsin. They voted it down. And then they put this subdivision ordinance in, which is just zoning in another form.
Mr. Hall, you had your opportunity.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, sir. Anybody have any other questions? All right.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a comment. And what we, as a board, are really trying to do, as far as a true subdivision, we're not trying to change and protect the citizens that is going to live in that subdivision. We're not trying to change anything as far as that, except for the setbacks and stuff. But the family divisions is what we're looking at. as overall the process that if I want to give my son an acre of land or anybody like that, do not make it as cumbersome as what somebody that is going to buy 100 acres of land and divide it up in 50 or 60 lots, that yes, there needs to be something in place to protect the people that's going to buy them lots.
Yeah, the purpose was to simplify, you guys know that.
We understand. And lengthening the number of people, I know that right now in the family subdivision, there's, only limited, but now by allowing some nieces and nephews and things, we concur. That would be a good change.
Mr. Howell, do you want to speak to the setbacks? Because you did have some concerns.
Well, as I shared with the planning commission last night, and I think that, again, probably most of us that ran in the county now, I know that, the town has its own,
17
planning commission, and they have zoning and that sort of thing. But one of the things that I heard a lot, was, one, about the process, not for real estate developers, but for, but for families. And, one gentleman talked to me about, he had bought some land that had a Cinnabon building on it, and he was, going to, that was causing a lot of problems because it was within the 15 feet. And I think that Mr. Hill would probably agree. I think he's heard some complaints, and Tim probably too. Corey, I don't know about you or Gene, but, we have heard, and a lot of it dealt with, being able to divide land up as a family, but the other is, the setbacks and having the ability to put, outbuildings and things like that, a little bit, closer to the fence line.
That's one of the things Dr. Chandler brought up. Was it going to apply to all uses, or were there going to be specific instances? And
I got closed.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Apologize.
That's all right. I got to have some kind of rule. Well, gentlemen, do you want to vote on the subdivision as presented, make any changes? The chair is now open. Doc, you want to make a comment?
I would suggest that since you've heard public comments tonight, just schedule a work session.
Sounds great.
Talk about those comments. Give everybody on the board an opportunity to review those comments, which we'll send out to everybody after the work session. If there's any changes suggested, I think I've heard some substantial change to what was proposed. Then you can discuss those in the work session, type environment, and then make any changes you'd like, and then after that, vote on those changes. I think since you've heard it tonight, at least have the opportunity, let's discuss those comments.
Should we invite the planning commission members as well?
If that's one of your recommendations, or at
I
least
would-
a representation from them, if you don't, everybody doesn't have to come, so representation. Okay. All right, then we will have a meeting scheduled with you guys, and we'll work that with our representation from you. And if we can have a motion to do that, and I would like to see this done as quickly as possible so we can get it on the agenda as quickly as possible. We didn't hear the 3 comments, and I think Mr. Hall just doesn't like it at all. And you both gentlemen are more against the setbacks and the possibility of taking you all out of some of the decision as far as the small tracts and so forth of that nature. That's all I heard, and I believe that was all we had. So I think that we could go pretty quickly on that. So we will arrange the meeting as soon as possible, as soon as we look at the calendars. Okay? Thank you. All right. So I'm not even tabling it. Right now, I'm just leaving it where it is, and we don't need a motion.
I would suggest that we have session immediately after our day meeting.
Immediately after the meeting, then we can put it in on the next night.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be fine. I will move to our next public hearing. In compliance with the Code of Virginia amendments thereto, the Wythe County Board of Supervisors will conduct a public hearing to consider amendment number 3 to ordinance 1983-1 entitled General Procurement Ordinance of Wythe County, Virginia. The Board of Supervisors will hear comments from citizens concerning the proposed amendment. The public hearing will be held on Tuesday, September 11, 2012 at 7:10 in the boardroom of the Wythe County Office Building, 340 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia. A copy of the proposed amendment is on file for public view in the County Administrator's office located at 340 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia. Would anyone like to speak to the procurement amendment? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Gentlemen, I'll take a motion here.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt, let me get it right here, amendment number 3, ordinance number 83-1, General Procurement Ordinance of Wythe County, Virginia.
I second that motion.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Well, I mean, I think all it does is it
Raises
very
the
well
value.
helps some businesses,
Yeah.
you know, local businesses.
All right, we need a roll call vote. Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And aye. Ordinance passes 7-0. We'll move to the minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on August 28, 2012. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve it.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of August the 28th. Are there, seeing no additions or corrections, I'll call for a vote. Aye. Mr. Hall? And aye. Thank you. Payment of the invoices. And I believe we have one invoice that did not make it to the packet. Is that correct?
Yes, I have an additional one to
Okay.
add to the agenda. Now within the gun in the back, request that we add.
And he's got the gun? Sounds good to me. I wish. All right, do I have a motion that we approve the invoices?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
All right, is there a second?
Including,
Including.
then I'll second that.
All right, does anyone have any question on the ones that we are including? I believe it's for schooling. It's for schooling, okay. All right, seeing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Horning? And the chair says aye also. Thank you. We'll move to old business. And the first item on old business was the ordinance for the motor vehicle and trailer license of Wythe County, Virginia. We had a work session on that earlier today. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we table this to give the county attorney time to reword some of the language in the ordinance.
Okay. Can we table it to a specific date, like?
Next meeting.
Second.
All right, so moved and seconded, we table it to give the county attorney time to review the language. There was several sections of it. All in favor of the table, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now we have a report from Fire and Rescue Task Force.
Okay. Well, Spiegel Fire Department is up and running. They're available to go out on calls. Hopefully they haven't had anything yet, but they will be dispatched if there's a fire or a need in their area. We had the reorganizational meeting on Tuesday, September the 4th. Had very good attendance. I thought that there was about 22 people there, but yeah, I mean as far as firemen. And well, firemen, fire ladies, I don't know, fire persons, because, you know, it is, you know, men and women who serve on the department. But everything went really well. Everybody seemed to, glad to be there, you know, very attentive, and, we did appoint, a fire chief, just for the remainder of the year. We thought that it was easier to go ahead and appoint someone who had had some experience, so that he could help get everything on board and get everything going. And so that was on Tuesday night, and on Thursday night, then the fire department, excuse me, itself met, gave out the turnout equipment, so their turnout gear, so everybody is well equipped and is ready to go out on a fire call. And the person that we named as the chief until the end of December was Mr. Jerry Porter, and Mr. Porter had served as the captain or the chief of Spiegel Fire Department before. The deputy chief is Mickey Bass. The captain is Mike Whalen. First Lieutenant A.J. Whitlow. Second Lieutenant Bill Carter. Sergeant Dale Jones. Safety Officer Jimmy Linkus. Secretary Gus Kinser, and Treasurer Stephanie Whitlow. And I think that they elected their officers that you know, that same night. But everything is going fine. We got them up and running, and they are now a functioning fire department ready to go out on calls.
Well, we went closed, how long? 2 weeks maximum?
Was it 3? 3 weeks, I
3
think.
weeks.
Yeah. But again, everybody was very glad to be there, and glad to be back, and the whole atmosphere and attitude in the room was very positive.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Also, and I'm sure Mr. Howland felt this way, the quality of these people was extraordinary. 6 or more of them had advanced training, a lot of extra expertise from training within this new group. Rail car accidents, quite a few things, farm vehicular extractions, things that we didn't have before. So the overall feeling that I got there in our meeting was that these people had a lot of passion to work for the community and improve response time and training, and that's what this was all about to start with.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments? All right, is any other business to come before us, Mr. Dalton?
Could I say something?
Yes, sir.
I think that we should commend the task force for the work that they have put into this.
I agree.
I know they spend a lot of hours, a lot of time in that. And I think you be commended, and I think you did a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. Mr. McRoberts was at the meeting too, and I was chairing the meeting, and I did fail to introduce him, but he said that was okay. He just assumed incognito. But thank you.
I think all of us on the board realize the work that you put in, and we do appreciate it.
And Mr. Chairman, I also want to say that I had talked to some of the other fire chiefs, and they thought the task force done an excellent job in addressing some of the issues and problems that the fire departments were having.
Thank you.
I'm sure this lady here, she's feeling a lot safer.
Well, I feel much better, yes, I do. But I have a problem with thinking that this could have been handled a little different. And you all know the situation, I do not. But I just know from what I experienced that those people helped us out. And I'm sure that you all know more about the situation than I do, and I don't want to know about the situation. All I was concerned about was to have protection out there. It has been accomplished. I appreciate that very much.
And ma'am, I will say that probably a lot of the people that helped you all out are on the squad. A lot of them.
Well, the names that you called, they weren't. because this has been, I don't know, 30 years ago.
Okay. Well,
A lot of them may not be here anymore.
then ma'am, I will retract my comment.
It hasn't been that long. Now, wait a minute, it hasn't been that long, because I was on your roof.
You were a mere child, weren't you?
No, the store dropped you off there or something?
No, I don't believe you were. People that I remember was Jimmy Lincoln, and of course, he's still on there.
Right, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Horny was not on the fire department at that time.
We had the fire now, that one coming.
No, the flu fire is what I'm
Right,
talking
the
about.
flu fire.
Because I remember looking off the backside and thinking, that concrete's gonna hurt if I slip.
The flu fire, right.
Oh, yeah.
But
I didn't realize you had a fire.
Yeah, well, no, we had a flu fire.
Flu fire.
Yeah, we did have a flu fire, yes, it was. And that's very, very scary with that roar that you hear. And me just thinking that the Whipple Fire Department had to come, or Ruby Trees Fire Department had to come down those crooked roads, I just could see if I needed help, it would be going up before they could get there.
Well,
So I think that's great.
I honestly believe you all are in very good hands.
And sometimes it takes a knife to cut through to get, you know.
But those people that you named, I'm very aware of all of them, some of them I went to school with, and I would speak for a lot of their character. It's very good, and I would tell them the same thing. But again, thank you all for getting it resolved.
Ms. Dalton, do you have any other business?
The only other item I may mention is that we now have an Ag Expo date for September 27th, if I remember correctly. It's 4 o'clock. So we've invited superintendent of schools to that meeting. It'll be 8 or 9 or 10 or 12, however many people show up. So we're moving forward with that assignment.
Okay.
Chairman, before you close that.
All right.
I believe in this Ag Expo thing, and I believe it is a vehicle that can have economic development. And since you're the chair of that committee, can we go to this meeting as citizens or as a committee?
To the Ag Expo meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with you going either way. It's just a work session.
That was a weak question, Mr. Chairman. Can we go to that meeting?
We meaning the whole board?
No, meaning you as chairman of the committee and the committee go to this Ag Expo.
As economic development?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's fine. I think it's gonna be with the school superintendent and a couple members from the Expo committee, right? Yeah. That would be fine, Mr. Hale. We'll go with the committee then.
Thank you.
Ms. Dalton, please notify the 3 of us that are on that committee. I received a letter from Dawn Davis Cox, our new judge in the Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court. She has a problem with the freestanding shredder that's in the passageway between the General District Court and the Circuit Court. And so I am going to refer this to Building and Grounds at your next meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I think I took care of that problem.
Been solved? That's the kind of, before I even ask you, that's what we need. If that's been taken care of, then I will just take this letter out of, Mr. Dalton, I'll let you know, so Mr. Dave, Tim can confirm. Okay? All right. We will now move to a closed meeting in accordance with the Code of Virginia 2.2. Can I have a motion? You got it?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of Supervisors convene a closed meeting to discuss the following as permitted by Virginia Code, Section 2.2-3711. Personnel, prospective new business, and all that entails. 3711.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
All right. Motion to go into
Mr.
closed
Chairman,
session?
I think there's 3 different sections that you're going into closed section on there. I think we need to address those.
We only have 2.2 listed on our, it's hard for us to figure that out.
A1 is personnel matters, A5 is prospective industry, and A7 is consultation with legal counsel.
Yeah, and it all comes under section 2.2-3711, but A1, A5, and A7.
Okay.
Okay. That's my motion.
And that,
I
approve of the
second.
second, okay.